I am here with Eric, and we're beginning to have some of the preliminary conversations that we feel are necessary to create a context for communication in which we're able to share with others how it is they can enter into this conversation called creating a sober world. Creating a sober world, as we define it so far, is a context for communication in which sobriety, as a global conversation or global reality, is an idea as time has come. And over the next few recordings and conversations Eric and I are going to have, we'll be defining sobriety, we'll be defining context for communication, we'll be defining the world and sober world and these different terms we come up with. But today we've been talking and we realized that we probably needed to record this conversation. So we're kind of winging it as we go along. We're getting ready to have a conversation with a young man from the Punjab over in India, and we're a couple of Christians and we're involved in a thing called the Crucified Life Teaching that we use a thing called the Green Letters, written by Miles Stanford as a way of framing this conversation. But basically what we're doing, we're gathering as a 12-step fellowship, in a sense. And our problem we've defined is not ourselves, not our drug addiction or alcoholism or sex addiction or under-earning or debting or adult children or overeating or whatever it is. We're defining our problem is that we have a sick world. And we're doing, as Dr. Jordan Peterson also exhorts us to do, we are taking the position that we're responsible. I mean, I'm responsible for this sick world. And Eric has shown up here, and he's also speaking for him, but he's heard enough for me to say that responsibility is not something we share. Responsibility is something that each of us takes hold of our own unique responsibility. And so here what we're doing is I'm creating a sober world and Eric is creating a sober world. Together we're gathering and sharing our sober worlds with each other in a sense and asking other people to come in and join us in this conversation called Creating a Sober World. So that's the invitation to this conversation. Okay, how did I do, Eric? Does that capture it?
I think you did well. And this fellow from the Punjab, this Sikh that you mentioned, you also said that you didn't feel that he was resistant to you talking about the cross. And I would go even farther and say that in my experience of talking with people of other religions, specifically Muslim and Buddhist, are where most of my experience is that they are very appreciative that we take a stand within our own religion. What annoys people is when you have an unbounded religion, when you have sort of a non-religion, I'm thinking this multicultural view of these modern leftist churches, such as we have out here in California. That's what annoys people of other cultures. When you call yourself a Christian, but you point out that you're really everything else also, because there's just no meat there. It's very hard. We have our cross, and the Jews and the Muslims, the Hindus and the Buddhists have their specific things that they can point to, and I'm not fluent in any of those religions, but they have something that they can stand on, and they're very respectful and appreciative of the fact that we can stand on the cross. It means a lot to them.
Well, thank you for that, Eric, because what I was going to be doing next is writing out a description of kind of like a little book like you have in Under-Earners Anonymous, what is Under-Earners Anonymous, and put together the basics of what we're up to and the 12 steps and the 12 traditions done, and then I have it already written out, done in the sense of, like I did in my book, Absolutely Sober. In the back of that book I have a kind of a cross-centered set of steps and traditions so that we kind of bring that into the center of it. And the reason why I emphasize the cross, and there's a reason for this, is that the founder of the Oxford group, which was the precursor to AA, Frank Bookman, he believed that his method of gathering, which is what AA adopted, and the message of the cross would one day save the world, one day transform the world. And I have captured that. I've taken that vision that he's given us, and I'm just simply saying that's what we're doing. Creating a World is the method of gathering, the kind of the ecclesiology of a first century Christian fellowship, which is what it was called when it first started, and the message of the cross. And so I will put that into words, and so we've got that nailed down so we don't have to keep stumbling over that. And so then between that and the book Absolutely Sober and the book Nothing, A Sober Discussion of Being and Non-Being, we should be able to put together a kind of a textbook, like an AA textbook, where we're able to take this conversation and kind of boil it down to the essence and make it something that's a real doable and conversational. You need to mute yourself whenever you're when you start making noise.
Yeah.
Okay, so how am I doing so far?
Good. It's I like that. But we're getting to the end here of my brain capacity, so I'm going to clean my room. Tell me what format the recording is in. Has it come out as an MP3?
I'll send it to you.
Okay. Yeah, we'll take a look at that. And then I'm going to clean my office, and I have a AA meeting tonight or this afternoon.
Okay, well, this before we get into that stuff, let's just kind of close this out. So we've got this recording here, and I'll be able to send this to Amin over in India and let him know kind of this is what we're up to. Maybe I hope he understands kind of the conversation. We kind of picked it up in midstream, and then I burned your brain out. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. It's good exercise.
But I'll send it along with him. Well, he's got a copy of not the green letters. He's got a copy of Nothing, and he's got a copy of, I believe he bought a copy of Absolutely Sober. They're only $2.99 on Kindle.
Okay, interesting.
I've got them really down where anybody can buy them for cheap. And even in India, I guess $2.99 is not too much to pay. He said it wasn't a problem. I would be willing to send it to anybody who needs it if they need a free one. But anyway,
now that it's available, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll talk about. I've got to do some work getting that book up and running at a better. I'm not so sure if that book's really set up correctly for the book itself. The Kindle selling is available. I don't know if the book is the hardback, the cover, the paperback is really working right. So what else we need to do, Eric? Why don't we can close this meeting in the usual fashion with the serenity prayer if you want to do that.
All right, sounds good.
God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change. Courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Okay, we'll stop the recording. Uh-oh. How did that happen?
I don't know. You did that. I didn't.
I'll stop.